Okay. Like, I don't know, like, when people don't have time to research or do anything, I don't know if I don't think people doing sophistry is bad. Like, if you like, for you, for example,
No,
if you went on to, like,
it's super corrosive to not actually engage in people's points critically, not critically engage with arguments. It's super corrosive to, like, the debate community, because people, one of the things, I have a few problems with the, I guess we'll just, like, go over a couple of points, and I'll just, like, write some shit down in, like, a empty Google Doc while I go, just for myself. I'm probably gonna get a TikTok video off of this, so I'll get my thoughts down. So, I guess, like, general as, like, a list of bullet points to go through of my general problem with the safe TikTok debate on panels. So, I think the first and biggest problem I have is, like, let's just call this lack of critical engagement. People refuse to, like, critically engage with other people's arguments. That's probably, like, my first and biggest problem with generally how things go on TikTok in the TikTok debates. So people refuse to critically engage. Now, there's a couple different ways to do this. One of the biggest ones is not answering questions. Right. And obviously they can pivot, right? Everybody knows, like, pivoting off the topic, that's obviously not engaging. That's obviously just completely dodging the argument entirely. Like, not even critical engagement. That's just, like, no engagement whatsoever. But I think lack of critical engagement, one of the things people do is they pretend to answer a question and secretly pivot away, or they just won't answer the question at all. So so I think one of the biggest problems with lack of critical engagement is just people refusing to answer questions. Another thing that I think is actually a gigantic problem is people dismissing others' arguments on the basis that they're bad faith. Debate bros. Okay, so generally what this looks like is you could give an argument, right? Maybe it's not, like, the best tone or whatever. Maybe like your inflection isn't the best. The substance of your argument is solid. It's a solid critique of the other point, or you're giving a strong, like, inductive case towards a point. And somebody then might accuse you of using debate bro tactics as a way of not engaging in the argument. Now, one of my hottest takes is accusing somebody of using debate bro tactics is actually one of the biggest debate bro tactics. It is a complete lack of critical engagement with anything that person has said. You just don't want to engage with the argument they've made. So, Alex, what brings you up here?
I just don't think there's anything wrong with TikTok debates. It sounds like you want things to be. It sounds like the goal of the debates that you want to have are about informing people, but I don't think that's the only goal debates should be based around.
Okay, when I have a debate on a TikTok panel, what I'm trying to do is with my opponent, whatever, right? Generally, we're trying to get at, like, some sense of what the objective truth is.
Okay, I don't think
we're supposed to be, like, working towards that, right? I may give them an argument for that. They may critique it. You know, we can, like, go back and forth about, like, whether this is true or not.
Yeah, I don't think that needs to be the case. Why do you think that debates should be about seeking objective truth, I guess?
Why do I think? Because, like, that's the entire point of a debate. Like, I mean, especially in this, like, excuse me. Well, I mean, there's different reasons you can do debates. If you're like Millie or in Realness or those kinds of people, you're doing debate as, like, a form of sophistry. You don't actually want to engage with people's points. You're just doing it because it makes you feel good and you want to like forward your political agenda, right? In like a bigger frame or bigger picture, doing debate in order to, like, push some sort of political agenda and just doing it as sophistry, I think is actually super corrosive to the debate community, right? One of the things I think everybody should go into every debate with is having their hand of good faith extended, and they should be obviously looking to get at some sort of objective truth, right? Or trying to come to, like, what actually is true here.
Yeah, I don't think that needs to be the case.
Okay, like, why not?
Yeah, because people have like jobs and stuff, and they can't afford to do research or listen to arguments and see if someone's argument is correct or not. Sometimes they just have to scroll through their feed and see what someone's saying, and maybe that makes them feel good. Now, you can argue that's bad, and people should be informed on the things they believe in, but I just feel like, in a real sense, like if people want to go on live and further their political cause by using, like, I don't know, emotional arguments that resonates with a voter base, like, I don't think that's bad.
Do you think we should believe in things that are true?
Not always, no.
Why not? Should we not seek the truth?
Not really. What do you mean by truth? Like for example, I think adultery is bad, like on a moral level, but I wouldn't want it outlawed. But if everyone agreed that adultery was bad, like morally, and that was objectively true, I feel like that we would outlaw it, and I would feel like that would be negative for society. That would be like an example of where I don't know if I'd want everyone to believe something is true.
Wait, why not? What's wrong with that?
Well, why do you think it'd be?
What's wrong with okay? If everybody thought adultery is immoral, then nobody would do adultery. Then outlawing it wouldn't even matter at that point.
True. Wait, no one would do adultery because they think it's wrong? I don't think that's true.
Or at least very few people would. I'm assuming people who commit adultery think that what they're doing is at least somewhat justified, right?
Definitely not. No. Like any example we can apply this to, like people do things that they would say is morally wrong, but they would still do the thing, right? Like we agree this happens, right?
Huh? Okay, wait. Just Alex, slow down. Have you ever talked to anyone who's ever like cheated on somebody else? Every time you ask them about like why they cheated or why they did this or why they did that, most of the time they're gonna have some sort of like justification. Even if they think what they're doing is like wrong, or people will say like that's wrong, right? A lot of times they'll either be like, oh, my partner screwed me over, this is justified, or these are my circumstances at the time, this was justified, or this is at least somewhat justified. Sure,
but like your claim was that this wouldn't happen if everyone believed the thing was wrong.
Well, every single person believed it was wrong. Believed it was wrong in all instances. And I think there'd be a lot less adultery, and at that point,
there'd be a lot less. Sure, but like it doesn't. Really
and then I think outlawing it, I don't think it'd even be big of a deal at that point.
Okay, like I don't know, like when people don't have time to research or do anything, I don't know if I don't think people doing sophistry is bad. Like if you like for you, for example,
no, it's super corrosive to not actually engage in people's points critically, not critically engage with arguments. It's super corrosive to like the debate community because people. One of the things that I think Destiny said this that we're doing when we debate, we're not just like trying to convince somebody else's audience. Probably the biggest thing we're doing is we're giving debates to people on our side who can then go use those points, those arguments against their family members or to convince other people from their lives. So when people are using sophistry and giving arguments and points that are invalid in these ways and are easily addressed and are actually doing debate in order to get some sort of like sense of truth, then it's super corrosive to the debate community and it's super corrosive to society. No, it's super bad.
That's great. You're wrong though. Like the point is to.
True, I'm wrong. Yeah, for sure. You're wrong, bro. And
I'll tell you how you're wrong, but you just wanted to ramble. But I'll tell you. So, like, he doesn't say to give your audience points to debate people. He says to energize your base. Now, energizing your base is just to go out and vote for Democrat. That's what he means when he says that. So, energizing your base could be just making emotional appeals all day on TikTok Live. And not doing any actual thought process We shouldn't be sacrificing
the truth. We shouldn't be sacrificing critical engagement in order to rally our base.
The only way that this matters and is corrosive to society is if our politics or our politicians are like this. If normal people don't engage in truth, this means nothing. But if
normal people don't engage in truth, then we elect skittos into office. I know this is maybe insane to you, but when 70%, excuse me, but when 70% of the Republican Party doesn't believe that the 2020 election was fairly won by Joe Biden, then we're going to elect people like Trump into office again.
You're proving my point. The point is that it's downstream from politicians.
Okay.
Why do you look confused?
What was that? How to address anything I said? Excuse me?
Well, maybe if you stop rambling and let me engage with what you're saying. So I'll explain it to you. So you said that if everyone believed in objective truth, they wouldn't elect schizo politicians. And it's false, and it doesn't matter because the downstream comes from politicians. So your example of 70% of the Republican Party doesn't believe in the 2020 election results, that's downstream from Donald Trump.
I
if
agree.
Your politicians agree in objective truth, but the general electorate doesn't.
I agree. But it's not just. Wait, excuse me. Just 1 second. 1 second here. When if the electorate, the elected body, doesn't believe in true things, then doesn't have a grasp of our epistemic reality, and the people they represent are going to pass and implement policies that reflect that distorted view of reality, which leads to bad outcomes. So it's best that we seek truth.
It's not realistic, is my point. Like the 9-to-5 worker is like not seeking truth. Like he's not.
Okay, I agree. It's not realistic.
So he's not going to have time to read the January 6th indictments. So we have thought leaders, someone like Destiny that you mentioned, or politicians, thought leaders that can read this for us, and we trust them to deliver us truth. That is how it exists.
I agree, bro. I agree. That's why when people spend their 30 minutes a day on TikTok Live, it's so corrosive when they're just listening to sophists. Thank you.
That's great, but like,
thank you so much. You agree? Thank you. Thank you so much. Holy shit. I have actually somebody defending sophistry on my fucking live. Jesus Christ. And now I've got some guy requesting up, some other guy. Anyways, where was I? Yeah, I was saying, yes. So, I guess just to reiterate for all the new people who are here, we're talking about like what the problem with TikTok panels are. So I think one of the biggest problems that panels have, or generally TikTok panels have, is lack of critical engagement of arguments. So I was going over a couple aspects. So not answering questions, like refusing to answer people's questions, completely dodging. This could be sneaky, sly. You can slyly not answer a question, or you can like very blatantly. But both of these happen pretty often, I would say. Accusing people of being bad faith and a debate bro. So one of the worst and most bad faith tactics I see people use, this is like Dino, maybe Mojo sometimes, is, okay, they didn't want to go. One of the most bad faith tactics I see people use is accusing others of being a debate bro. When you're accusing other people of being a debate bro, what you're doing is you're giving any reason not to critically engage with their argument. This is literally one of the biggest debate bro tactics. It's actually so annoying. I think the last one, I didn't go over this, I did write this down though, is rejecting the use of hypotheticals or refusing to engage in them. I don't think people notice that whenever they say, if this happens, then this would happen, that is, you're engaging within like a hypothetical or like a thought experiment. If you like completely reject hypotheticals, then like good luck debating. It's just not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be fun. And also, like, hypotheticals are like logically valid. Like, I could go ahead and I could explain that for you if anybody has any questions, but subscribe.